multitasking is a much lauded skill these days. Being a chefpreneur requires not just a talent for cooking, but also a wide range of management skills in order to run the business. This was proven by Chef Menoy, who managed to put up his own thriving business and yet continues to share his culinary knowledge with those with the hunger to learn.
My name is Jose Amadeo Jimenez, but people call me Menoy. My business is actually Tito Chef Restaurant and all things culinary. What we offer is actually a lot of things. No? Our tagline is actually restaurant and all things culinary. So there's actually a full-service restaurant, but we also do off-premise catering, whether it's social or corporate. Then we also have a culinary school called Professional Academy for Culinary Education. And we also have a cake shop called Lulu. And we have another decorated cake shop called Cake Opera Company. Not everybody should open a restaurant because sometimes the idea of having one is nice, but the idea of actually doing it on a daily basis is another thing. Just like with cooking, some people think that they love to cook once in a while, but then again, if it becomes a job, it becomes tedious, then it's a different story altogether. So you want to decide whether you want to do it every day or you want to do it once in a while.
A bit about how your career has evolved. I mean, once upon a time you were working for others, with others. What made you decide to go on your own?
To be very blunt about it, and I was never really an entrepreneur. I became an entrepreneur by accident because I really wanted to work for a company, get a salary. Then at a certain age, they just decided to maybe to go a different direction and to put it bluntly, boot me out. So I had to make an opportunity for myself. So basically, that's why I ventured into opening a restaurant.
What were the biggest lessons you learned from that whole experience?
Wow. So I'll tell you the three. Number one is that always have a written contract. Although my dad told me the verbal contract should hold water, but apparently not. Number two, as you get a little bit older, make sure that you tend to just really have to invest on your own and invest in yourself, and it's the best investment that you can do. And the third, of course, is to always keep an open mind and evolve as fast as the times could, so that you keep on, keeping up with the times.
Right. Now, you guested on our show maybe more than a year and a half ago.
Right.
You talked a lot about your catering business.
Right.
How has your business evolved since that time?
I've always prided that, what we can do, that the restaurant is a very multifaceted place. So aside from the walk-ins and the people who dine in, we actually ventured into off-premise catering. So that has really picked up. I decided to stick to the South because I'm from the South. We are located in Parañaque, just in case people are not aware where we are right now. And I've discovered that there's actually a good market in the South if you cater to their desires. And that's a good thing. So it has really, exponentially grown since about 2 years ago.
What are the particular desires of the clients who live in this part of the metro?
We both live in the South, so we know that we can get a little bit cuckoo. People from Quezon City are loyalists. I notice that Southern people, it's either they like you or they don't. Is that a bad thing? Not really. So you have to make sure that you make yourself likable. So you make sure that we cater to a whole dining experience, not only giving unusual food or catering to certain parts of the dining experience, but creating a totality. And I think that makes for really good return and repeat business.
How would you describe the type of cuisine you're known for?
We are known for, I call it edited French and European cuisine. Why? Because it's edited because it's not really that fancy, but it's actually updated to how people eat nowadays. And it mirrors what we teach in school.
As far as teaching goes, you really like to emphasize the importance of teaching and mentoring.
Right.
Why is that something that you decided to get into? Not all chefs do that.
Exactly. Actually, it's quite exacting. I think with the culinary school in the restaurant, it will always make the restaurant relevant. In my head, it will never be outdated because we will update one another and then people will keep on rediscovering it. Number two, I think we come from a family of teachers. I only discovered it recently. My mom taught, my aunt taught, a lot of people taught, and I think it's the best thing. It's a good feeling. Somebody told me it's better than having a facial, but I've never had a facial. So that means the spirit of giving, which ties up to the season, is actually a good thing. So the idea of when people get that aha moment, and they discover something that you cannot, you cannot really replace. And I think that makes our existence more relevant.
Did you get any help? How did you put it together when you were used to working with partners?
I was already 42 then. So that means I was not really that young, I was not also that old. So basically, whatever savings I had, I took. And I learned the most important thing, which was actually, when you open something as a single proprietorship, be ready for everything. Why? Because you have to, literally, that's why it's single and solo, and all those things really went into my mind. But the most important thing I learned from that is to learn how to listen. Sometimes we just tend to listen to ourselves. So I tend to listen to people who I think have valid opinions. And I was lucky that I had so many friends and mentors who really wanted to see me succeed.
Let's talk about the food that has also made you quite popular. What do we have here? This
in front, this one is pistu, which is a derivative from pesto. It's like a Visayan saying it's pistu, no? But this one is actually a vegetable soup with pesto, so it's easy for people to appreciate.
Right, because they already have it in their pastas
Exactly.
and whatnot.
And then besides, it's just ever popular since 1940. It's actually an item that I would like to take. Other people keep looking for it. It's actually a very basic fruit salad, but it comes with our two powerful dressings. There's a nice citrus dressing and a nice balsamic dressing. So these are dishes that are actually quite popular, but they are dredged in nice fundamentals of culinary techniques. So people learn something from the lesson of vinaigrette, the lesson of putting a fresh salad.
Right.
We're using organic greens, not because it's chichi, but then of course it's available now. Okay, basically what they have there, it's actually a vegetable soup. So, but the broth is the secret there, because the broth is actually laden with Filipinos' favorite, which is actually pesto. Then you finish it with some cheese, so you get a little bit of bean, you get a little bit of whole wheat noodles, a little bit of vegetables. So it makes for a very pleasant, comforting something.
It is very
if you
nice.
love pesto. Every Christmas we actually have our series of dishes that we do for Christmas. So we do a lot of potluck dishes for Noche Buena. Then we also have bread baskets. We are proud of our artisan bread line that are served in nice baskets. We have seasonal dishes like we have cassoulet later on, we have bouillabaisse, and we have some scallops that are served with risotto. So something that will make it more festive. Actually, it's just a duck cassoulet, but I had to put a third word so that it's not short on the menu.
Okay.
So this one begins with a duck confit, which is actually a duck leg cooked in its fat.
Okay.
And it's cooked with beans afterwards and chorizo. The one that makes it unusual is that I added garbanzo, and it has a very nice, strong, hearty flavor.
Very tasty. And then what have you done with the skin? You made it into cracklings.
Right. I hide it because there's only a few skin in the duck. Then you can serve it just like with any bean dish. It's nice to serve it with a nice acidic thing. So I serve it with a little bit of aged balsamic vinegar. So when you eat this, ideally, this should be something that, go to bed after eating. You don't even have to brush your teeth because that rosemary taste might be pleasant.
And then you have your scallops.
This one is actually one of our signature dishes. Before, it used to be served with a squid ink risotto. But then again, somebody told me, stop serving dark dishes.
It's not good date food.
Exactly. Not only that.
So this is also popular. And you have your bouillabaisse.
Right. This one is actually, this dish I've cooked for almost 20 years because it's one of the first things I've learned. I got reprimanded for doing it the wrong way, and I never forgot it. And so far, this kind of taste seems to appeal to the customers because they remember having it, and they say it tastes better than what they had abroad.
Wonderful. That's a huge compliment.
But then again, they're saying that with a 20% discount card as a senior. Then we use local Manila clams, then local seafood.
It's time now for our SWOT analysis. Talk to me about the greatest strengths of Tito Chef.
We are actually prepared in terms of how we deal with our everyday business. But our biggest strength is that we are the total package. I know it sounds very arrogant, but then again, as somebody told me, nobody's going to claim it. Claim it for yourself. How do I say that? That means that we not only prepare food, we also prepare the ambiance, we also prepare our people. In short, we are prepared. So every day that we open at 10 a.m., it takes us 3 hours to really prepare. We cook every day, and I think that's our greatest strength, and that makes our customers come by. The total package.
On the opposite end of that, what are your weaknesses?
Okay. The weakness actually is that initially I was just so enamored with opening a restaurant that I realized that, you know, it could have gone into another location. But come 2 years after, the traffic came, lo and behold. That was a big blessing because that weakness became a strength. Because now people are not they're into hub living. They don't want to venture outside, so the tendency is that they stay in the area.
They will stay here in the South.
So the weakness became the strength.
A strength for you. All right. Looking forward, though, what are the opportunities for Tito Chef? What are your potential areas for growth?
Somebody said, "Oh, if we had rooms here to let, we would sleep." I said, "You know what? I actually wanted to have a nice B&B, have a 1 or 2 or 3 rooms. That might be something. But then again, that's too far fetched. The most realistic thing for me to do is to have probably a second location. We used to have 2 or 3 more, but then again, we just wanted to concentrate in the South.
Yeah.
So as of the moment, we have actually a coffee shop which is called Lulu of the Most Unusual Places in Funeraria Pass. Since we are sandwiched between 2 cemeteries, you know that, right? And we are off-premise catering in our school. So basically, the opportunity is there for growth in terms of branches, but also internally. Since our tagline is a restaurant and all things culinary, we try to do as much without doing so much that it becomes chop suey. So what we're trying to do is strike a healthy balance for that.
Okay, lastly, any threats to your business at all?
I was thinking, hopefully the traffic does not get cured within the next 5 years. No, it's
While
true.
you're still here.
You know what I mean? Because the traffic actually brought us a lot of people. Because they said, "Oh, let's eat there." That's the threat. Are there any other threats? I think at a certain age, I'm able to weather the threats because I think I prepare. But I'm very honest in saying I love that. Well, not that I love the traffic. I will agree with Tugade for 2 seconds only. It's a state of mind because it makes my business a little bit more, accessible.
You've obviously done really well for yourself. You know your culinary.
Right.
You know your entrepreneurial skills. What for you makes for a good chefpreneur?
Okay, yeah. But that's a very good point. I think that number one, it has to come with experience and age. Although I know there's a lot of young people who begin businesses early, but I think they miss out on learning from other people. One thing I learned is that during the first 5 years, work for other people. What you learn from them could be 2 things: what to do and what not to do. The most important thing that they could learn from other establishments are the things that they should not do. Because I think if you're a good culinarian, you know already what to do. But the other aspects of running a business, like these things I never really, started thinking that, I would learn how to go to accounting, to audit, all this stuff, but I had to. So I think I might not be the best proof, but I am a living proof that, you know what they say, that entrepreneurs are born, you cannot make them. Well, I think I made myself into an entrepreneur. A long time ago, somebody said, "Oh, Jose, I have an American classmate, you're gonna die poor." But then I realized something. Poor or rich is very subjective. I am rich because every day that I'm here, I am paid in full. And that's not BS. That's a reality. And if it makes money because there's extra thing, that's perfect for me.
Thank you so much for making
Thank
time
you
for
too.
us today.
And can I shake your hand because
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.